jog with me. I'm kind of on a roll right now. So, in my previous video, I started talking about what does it look like for essential well-being, like food, housing, water, etc., basic needs. What does that look like when the community recognizes that as a community responsibility, right? We're not talking about socialism. We're not talking about communism. communism. We're not talking about political ideas. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about government systems. We're talking about day-to-day values, right? Because this past year, my values have been shifting. And so I've been exploring, what does it look like for basic stewardship, care, day-to-day activity to be a community value, right? Not imposed. No one's saying you have to care about your neighbor. But what would it look like if I was in community with other people where we collectively agreed, like, yeah, I want you to eat. I hope you're fed. You know, I want to take care of this bit of land with you so that we can be fed and we can stay fed daily, regularly. And it's not too much of a hassle because being fed is baked into our day-to-day systems, right? We have a relationship with the land. We have a food garden that we tend to, and again, because we're in relationship with the land, it's not this whole thing of trying to get it to do something and I hope we don't starve. I hope the land doesn't go barren, because we're in community with it as well as each other. And we have this understanding and this symbiotic relationship of how we can all get our needs met, right? And so watch the video for that, the last video, I think. But where I want to take it is something I just jotted down really quick in my notes app last night, was the realization that when I'm in community, I want to be the person who notices where aliveness is, where things are working, where people light up and naturally come together, and then articulate the kinds of systems that would support that, if that makes sense. Like, I want to be the person who notices the through line, the framework, and says, wait, you see the way we were just hanging out? We weren't really trying to like, this is another task, another responsibility we have to do. We were just hanging out. And care came out of that. We were hanging out and now everyone's hair is done. We were just hanging out and now the garden is tended to. We were just hanging out and now the laundry is done. You get what I'm saying? I want to notice those bits of aliveness and be the person to say, hey, can we turn this into a ritual? Can we come back to this? Can we do this again? And help solidify those little community interactions, those interdependent moments that feel like care. So that way it doesn't feel like drudgery, because these are rituals that came from genuine moments of care. And I identified that as my role because that's something I've been asking for myself for quite some time. Is I know I care, I know I value this, but I don't know what my role is in this, you know? And I knew the concept of, well, just be me, just bring myself and it'll show. But it felt really good personally to identify, like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I naturally do in my own life. And I would love to bring that into community, which was really cool. And so honestly, I share that because I would love for other people to explore that within themselves and explore how we can be intentional, but respect aliveness in the intentionality. Because I read a Substack article the other day, can't remember the creator, but she was amazing. And she was talking about community organizers, but how they oftentimes feel too tired to share their experiences and share what works. Meanwhile, theorizers are on the other side of the fence going, do this, this should work, but oftentimes don't have the experience and the actual know-how to say that. And she was talking about bridging that gap, and that's why I was thinking about this to begin with. 10 out of 10 article. If I find it, I will link it. But the point I'm getting at is I was a theorizer for a long time, I think, because I came up with this framework of here's what it would look like if there were, I don't know, a food commons movement, right? Again, I've been thinking about this for a while. But I didn't actually have experience in starting a food commons or organizing a community or really being politically involved in that way. So obviously I read that article and I was like, you're right. I need to go out and live this. And finally, I sort of have my answer in that there's nothing wrong with frameworks and there's nothing wrong with having tools and resources and being able to articulate the systems that make community organizing, that make honestly just existing in community, right? The fabric of day-to-day life being a communal thing. There's nothing wrong with identifying the systems for that, but I'm realizing I want my role to come from existing in it and noticing it and contributing to it and then going, hey guys, we tried this. This is what I noticed. We implemented it. We returned to it. It did in fact work. And so just noticing that and articulating that and really keying in on allowing structure to come from aliveness, right? Allowing systems to serve aliveness, because that's the fucking problem with white colonial systems now. White colonial systems, their North Star is money. Their North Star is profit, it's gain, it's extraction, it's how much can I get out of this without any regard for you. But when systems are anchored in aliveness and reciprocity, right? Shared, mutually beneficial experiences, I think we can get something entirely different and revolutionarily beautiful, you know? It's what I want to experience, at least. So just putting that out there and stating for the record that let these new systems anchor in aliveness. Let them come from and be born of aliveness before we just start, we got to do this or we got to do that. And it's like, well, you're doing it because you think that's what you should do rather than doing it because that's what feels right, right? Like it kind of bypasses the point of being community, right? Like you're doing it because rather than like, but we want to start here, you know? We want to start with that feel good. I'm doing this because I care about you. And I feel that care in this moment as I'm helping you. And that can sort of help curb a lot of the symptoms of burnout and feeling like you're not helping, because you can feel yourself helping. You can feel yourself caring and loving on another person as you're helping. But, you know, gotta be in the systems, gotta be out in the field first. But for now, that is all. Bye-bye.